Empire. So BDS have come in and they've looked really hot, which is once again continuing for the third season the trend line of a team coming from EU Challenger League to being one of the best in all of Pro League. But Rogue might have something to say about that, and Empire obviously will still be tied no matter what happens with BDS, or they'll be ahead of them. Coastline's going to be our map.
Yeah, we'll get another Coastline today, which is always fun to watch, in my opinion. There hasn't been a ton of Coastline this season, but I think this is a good map to showcase aggressiveness. We talked about it so many times. BDS specifically are a team that really like to run around the map, do a lot of work, specifically with Shaiko and Renshiro nowadays. It basically running the entire team, anchoring around Renshiro. That's what usually happens with them. So Coastline definitely would fit that. Guys at home, 60% for BDS. There's a big fan base behind them.
Yes.
We get it. They're pretty big.
A whole country, dare you say?
Yeah, I mean, they are the only full French lineup that we have remaining in Pro League. How far we've gotten, Parker, from year 1 and year 2, from half of Pro League being full French to now barely a shadow of what they were before.
Rogue is not even a French roster. It's primarily German. That's crazy. Yeah. That's the old Stream Vitality squad. So I remember, like I said, fond memories of when I came in EU, the very first season, it was Ares, Millennium, B-Genius, and Supremacy. 4 of those teams, because I believe Vitality had just been relegated, 4 of those teams were French. So we'll look at Coastline. We already saw it today, again, the G2 Empire matchup. But BDS versus Na'Vi will be here. This is going to be a very frag-heavy map, and it is also traditionally a very good map for both of these teams. Now, Na'Vi don't look like their old usual self, and BDS have just been constantly improving as a roster. Very first ban is going to be BDS, and they ban Hibana, the operator that you see Shaiko play a lot. That means he's probably going to play Maverick or another operator for the majority of this matchup.
I don't know if they'd ban the Mira in the end, would they? Yeah, okay, yeah. Makes a lot of sense. For a lot of people that are coming in here and they don't really know much about the history of BDS and how their players usually run things, Renshiro is known as an immensely powerful meetup player. This is, historically speaking, one of the best. The guy really hits his shots no matter what. All he needs is an angle. And again, with Mira, you can create many of those angles and opportunities for yourself. You have your mirrors, and of course you have your secondary shotgun. You can do the work with it. I would expect it to be played at some point, maybe as a 6th pick, kind of throw Na'Vi off a bit of a curveball, but the Valkyrie ban makes sense. It is an operator that also BDS ends up using quite consistently. Someone like, again, Renshiro runs with very well, and it's an operator that works extremely well. On a map like Coastline, there's so many open spaces. You can gather intel, prepare yourself, know when to peek. There's always someone watching some angle on the map. But we'll go for the double bars first. This is our first sight. Ella will be an operator of choice for RX, something we don't usually see. I'm wondering if he's bringing the FO12. We see that a lot on Bank, and obviously that's mostly to deal with those blue stairs. Maybe you'll have a similar thing here, or maybe they want to play more aggressive with the Scorpion.
Pengu played aggressively with the Scorpion at the door of the mudroom / the foyer, whatever you want to call it, which is right by the B-bomb inside of Sunrise Bar. And I mean, I don't really think it was as effective as you wanted it to be. The FO12 is indeed what RX is going to have in his hands, and that's going to be very helpful from a soft destruction standpoint as well. As you see quite a bit of roam upstairs from BDS, which is unsurprising given the way that you like to take control on a map like Coastline. Well, actually, most maps, for their record. Coastline, for those that are new to Rainbow Six, is one of those maps that doesn't see a hard breacher played all that often. The only one that you do tend to see is Hibana, and well, she's banned, so you don't really need to worry about that. Shaiko and Citizen will likely be the 2 members of these teams to watch. Citizen, obviously, from Na'Vi, Shaiko from BDS. You just almost saw them get into a bit of a tussle by the main door.
It's that endless fight between the Jaeger and the Ash, right? Not something that will end anytime soon. Though, with the Jaeger changes coming up maybe soon, who knows? Who knows what will change. No ACOX to take away this time around. Kendrew will be scouting around inside of the aquarium. He's not going to find anybody there. This is not the linchpin position that BDS have been locking down. Do you want to try and push into the office? This is the wrong play here. Shaiko finds saves. They double up, both Alems and Shaiko, for that initial kill. Grenades off the board, and Na'Vi take a pretty big gamble to push in through the office with no control even of the top floor, as Citizen is yet again still trying to contest in the lobby.
Well, Shaiko re-engages, doing so much damage to Nello this time, and now Lem's taking a beating too. Well, the Lems and Shaiko have probably about 5 to 10 HP combined. Countless logic bombs going off. You'll hear everything. In goes a flash, and Citizen will look the other way. Doesn't know that there's somebody downstairs in security. Creeping up is Shaiko, and Nello's a little bit too slow, and it's Shaiko capitalizing off on that one. 2 kills for him so far. They'll prompt Kendra to have to drop down and grab the diffuser. It's been given up just by the main door in the office. There goes a flash from the Nomad. And there's, once again, 2 members from BDS there. They'll have to trade off a Lems, though, as Kendra misses his shots. I think he's distracted, and there it goes again. BDS are feasting upon Na'Vi inside office in a very weirdly paced push from Na'Vi, leaving Pi stranded outside.
I don't know how to call this sort of pacing here. Pi is going to take a lot of fire and then die the entry. And yes, indeed, they did bring the FO12. So here it is. Man, that was, I mean, pacing. This is like Jabba the Hutt trying to tango level pacing. Not great. Everybody was piling up. The drones were coming in, but unfortunately, to contest, you really need to take that top floor control. You droned at Aqua. There was nobody there. Why not take the opportunity? Why did you pile up first? Fair enough. You want to tell me at the beginning of the round, you're trying to pile up and push into office and maybe take from there? You lose 1 player? Fine. It's okay. Why then still stay there? Why then lose 3 more players as you're trying to enter through the same hard point? They tried to come back with the Ash and push in from security, but you had no info because at that point, Na'Vi had lost all of their drones. They could not gather any information on how BDS were setting themselves up. And for those out there that are curious as to how many drones are always available, I would highly recommend you keep looking at the map, especially in this prep phase, because a lot of times drones are being thrown in and you end up losing 2 or 3 in the prep phase. The operator icons would gray out in the prep phase when those drones are lost, and that's a very important thing to look out for. The less drones you have as attackers, the worse it is for you when you actually try and push into a site. Keep in mind that also when the Mozzie is in play, like in the last round, it makes things double more difficult. And a big reason of probably why Na'Vi didn't go for that Aqua take first is because they were afraid for Nitro Cell to just be thrown at their faces from the Mozzie from below at the same time. So they're like, you know what? We have to do something. But evidently, none of that was the play. And maybe just focusing on the top floor would have been better. You go for kitchen this time, and it's the same thing. Chat, repeat it with me. Your defenders are holding on to the bottom floor. What do? Go to the top floor, clear out from there, use the destruction to your advantage. You have the buck, you have an Ash, you have an IQ. Use your utility.
So, all those things said, and proper utility usage, for the record, has not been as obvious today as you'd imagine. First kill is going to go to Na'Vi as you see the Ella of Lems, very similar in names, get removed. There's an entry from Pi onto Shaiko as well. He's on one right now. He enters just towards the top of main stairs. And Vincere will get pinched on through the drone hole, actually, by saves. Very quickly, BDS has gone down 3 members. Make that 4. The Citizen gets 2. That was very quick. A flawless round from Na'Vi. All right, blink, and you miss it.
Yeah, that was definitely a complete reverse of what happened in a previous matchup. Or previous round, excuse me.
It happens.
There's so much just going around, right? There was a lot going around. You basically funneled all of BDS into a position where the Ash can just shoot them. That is it. You had your drones, you funneled everybody out, you got kills, and that was the round. Now, if Na'Vi were trying to do this in the first round, then fair enough. It didn't work because you had the anchor positions that BDS required to hold on and not allow a rush to be successful like this. But it felt that BDS were cornered beyond any way to describe it. Like, this is not something that you've been able to see in the past couple weeks of play. Regardless, though, we'll go into Hookah. It's odd to see it as a third site in play, really, because this has been the premier site for many defenders. Mira hasn't been played yet. This is a site that she works very well on. Renshiro running the Echo. It didn't really work out last round, but it depends how you want to run those yokais. Do you want them to be more defensive? Do you want to have one that rolls around and supports Shaiko as kind of a mobile drone? All of these are possibilities, and they're ones that usually work out well. There's no Thatcher in play, as it's not usually an operator that you'd be bringing on this map. The IQ should be more than enough. So for you, as an Echo player here, the focus will be hide your yokais correctly. You don't have to have them in your back pocket for it. And you saw Renshiro hiding one of them right under one of the white sofas that's inside of the minibar. It's a good position to be in, but you can still lose that yokai from below, as taking the site by taking control of blue bar first is a very common strategy.
Waiting to see when that Mira does emerge, because I like that a team left it open, but at the same time, I hesitate to remember the last Coastline matchup where even with somebody that is exceptionally talented on that role, we have seen a Mira get brought often. Two members of BDS stacked up right now on Cool Vibe stairs as we look towards 1 minute of live action. Both of them being protected by a mute jammer and presumably an ADS nearby. Is a yokai drone in play for the Echo of Renshiro? We could be watching Na'Vi so that when they do go to push up, they will be spotted. Third site for BDS now. There goes a frag grenade dropped on down. Another will go too, but the Lion charge just does not go off at the right time. Both Renshiro and Shaiko will get away with very minimal damage from that frag grenade. That could have been timed better for Na'Vi. Ultimately netted them a kill or two. Circling below is Pi. If anybody's foolish enough to peek the hatch that's been opened up, they'll find themselves dying to the IQ, as a number of members of BDS did in the previous round.
I wonder where that Claymore was set. Is it right under the hatch? No, it doesn't seem to be the case. It's a good spot here to have. You open up the hatch, leave the AQ to just look down. Not only a possible position behind the bar, or the hookah bar, but also an entry rotation into the site. There's a trade, a 1-to-1. A Citizen has found a Lems, but in the meantime, you lost that Dokabi. One of the charges has just gone off, and really did not net much. You've lost a Lems, so control over drones. Usually there's one drone that's kind of picked up by Amazi, but it's more importantly lost that Nitro cell with the 2 grenades off by Nelvy. There's a lot of time dwindling.
You can see that Citizen is completely blind and is flying through the map with very minimal information at his fingertips. He'll align with Kendra inside of Aqua as the members of BDS lie prone, mostly in and around the site, just waiting for somebody to head on through the Aqua door. Kendra will attempt to get the plant down. Does he hit a Lion charge? No, he doesn't. There goes a frag grenade on over to Cocktail, finds RX. Saves will be the playmaker to keep Kendra safe. There goes a Yokai Rafel with 2 kills onto Kendra and Pi. Finds Shaiko in the process, but Diffuser still goes down regardless. Sticking the Diffuse is Rafel. Does somebody have this information? Yes, it's Citizen. He's going to have to hurry and he'll pick up 2. Down goes the players of BDS. Rafal with that C4 could have blown the whole round open, but a missed shot from the Echo ends up being the undoing of BDS, and Citizen to the rescue to give Na'Vi their second round.
This really is a big fight. Stick Citizen or Shaiko on an Ashe on attack, and you'll be good to go. And Citizen really had that advantage. The fact that he was able to take down the Echo was huge, but I focused on the Echo in the prep phase. I will focus on that point again because I really want to drive it home how important of an operator pick it is. Not only are you bringing an operator that's supposed to be, well, just also have a gun and shoot people, but that utility is so important. And you could use other operators if you're not running him correctly. In that case, one of the yokais possibly was lost, I'm not sure, but the second one we saw, the Echo had gotten killed, there was a lot of commotion happening, you knew the diffuser was going to go down, and the yokai drone was still by blue stairs. You're trying to rotate it up, and I'm not sure what happened there. When time is low, you should already have your utility placed in a correct position, but closer to the site, it's usually the strategy of just, hey, let's just try to run in from Aqua and plant. That's the one when there's 30 seconds left. should have been expected, was not. Mistake on the Echo side, maybe somebody called the Yokai to be in another position. Regardless, it ended up in you not being able to deny the diffuser from being planted. Should that have happened, plus that Nitro Cell, we would have seen a completely different round. Potentially, we'll go to the double bars again. Na'Vi have been able to secure those 2 rounds off of pure fragment power. And that's something that is odd to say because BDS were not able to follow up against them.
Yeah. I think this map and I think this matchup is really just going to boil down to who frags better.
Yep.
I mean, we saw the same thing on G2 Empire. Who fragged better? Kix noted many, many times. G2 was simply winning their gunfights against Empire. That's not ordinary against a team like Empire. I mean, G2 has always matched up very favorably against the Russian squad, but you expect here, these two teams are not natural adversaries. So you don't know really what to expect between the two of them as they don't have a ton of history competing against each other. Anywho, double bar defense. Down below, Na'Vi with a lead, which I don't think a lot of people would be, I guess, like, too expecting too much. Words are tricky. So
I get you there, buddy. Yeah. So that's fine.
Pi is waiting to draw somebody out. He's been playing off on his own, unsupported in this case, as you see that combo of Alems and Shaiko playing inside of Office. This was a major stumbling block for Na'Vi on a previous stake down to the Office. What will they be able to do differently? Shaiko peeks and dares onto Pi. If there's anybody in this matchup who's going to land those shots, it's going to be Shaiko. And somebody from Na'Vi come to the rescue. There goes the first Lion charge. Nobody moves, nobody blinks. Never mind. At the very final seconds of that EOD going off, it's 2 from BDS who will reveal themselves. Still, hold up inside of Office. Kendra from above, trying to deal some soft destruction damage. Only person who's really suffered at all is Renshiro. This is good for both squads, I suppose. But once again, this tempo, this weird pacing between the teams persists.
It really is weird, to be honest. This is not usually the way that things happen on Coastline. But again, this is a matchup between two teams that have a lot to prove right now. There's a lot of pressure on top of them. Oh, the double up! Same strategy works the second time. Shame on who? I don't know. I don't care, to be honest. Those were big mistakes, and losing Pi definitely adds a lot to Renshiro as an Echo and Shaiko running around to the other side of the map now will be able to take down Citizen. The diffuser being set, and Shaiko, what a snipe across the map, basically! One more with the Ella. With that FO12, Kendra is able to collect 2, but RXWD is still there. That shotgun's gonna ring. Pshtek. That's what it says.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Production, what does Pshtek mean?
Please tell us.
Yeah.
I'd like to know.
Because Gzmot, yeah, because it's E with a thing. Ah, so it's the ping when you hit something metallic. So fair enough. That's the Poles even have a word to describe that. That's interesting, to say the least.
I mean, we have words to describe sounds. They're called onomatopoeias. They're just, I don't know.
They're not actually...
No, but I mean, people will see them and they'll know.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I barely speak English.
Yeah. Well, between us, I'm sure would be a couple of pretty good cunning wins.
And defuse as many bombs
there's
as they
no reason to doubt that at all. We'll go though to the top floor again. We've been holding on to Hookah. Again, the site didn't really work out for BDS before. They'll be bringing a Vigil. So what's the play here? What's the difference, Barker? Instead of thinking, hey, that Echo, let's bring him again. Let's put Renshiro on an ACOG, which is usually a great idea, right? You bring him on the dock, you bring the Goyo, so you have a way to deter your opponents from getting on the site. And then you put Alems and Shaiko on the Vigil and that Jaeger respectively, and you're able to run around the map and cause chaos. And by the end of the round, if there's 30 seconds left, you just pop the Goyo shields. At least you force a lot of utility out of your attackers if they've already been popped, and you'll be good to go for the rest of it. Rafale can remove a lot of possibilities due to boot jammers being a big part of this defense. Otherwise, you're good to go. This works well, but you have to be extra destructive. It relies on BDS taking map control and holding on to it as long as possible.
Wondering if we're going to see another brisk pace for Na'Vi, but there's no Lion. I don't know if the Lion was exactly what they needed. Shaiko spots the drone as it's found inside of just outside of delivery. Couple warning shots as he and Citizen might go toe-to-toe yet again. The Vigil of Alems will waste time down in office in one of the offshoots rather of the site. This Vigil is going to be a significant time waster because once his drone is I guess you call it the ERC, the cloaking device, goes off. That's a beautiful shot from Alem. Speaking of the ERC, in full effect as it just slowly wears off. 2 kills for BDS after Na'Vi got the opening pick. Once again, this very weird pacing between these teams. Can't exactly nail down when someone's going to get that first opening salvo.
See, Nello used the lodging bomb. He knows that there's a player downstairs. He already lost one of his teammates to Olem's Vigil. So what does he do? He just stays back and makes sure that if he's engaging the Vigil, he's in a prime position to collect a kill and not to be lost. A lot of Goyo shields here means that, yeah, you're going to be delayed even more. This is prime positioning for the defenders to keep popping those shields bit by bit. It's kind of like having smoke without actually having it.
Our XWD will watch the flames by the A bomb, C4 in hand, to possibly take Pi off of Repel. He'll suffer some damage as a frag grenade goes in behind him, and he manages to stave off defeat despite all of those things. There's no death just yet, no defeat at all. There goes an air jab tossed on in as another one of those Vulcan shields will get blown apart. There's a frag grenade and a C4 as they cross paths, but nobody really takes any damage. All right, Na'Vi, you're going to have to go on in and make something happen because you're going to be in a 2v4 when Nello goes down for the plant. There's an air jab that will go off. Kendra just narrowly misses out on the Goyo, finds RXWD. He doesn't one. Beautiful shot onto Alems. Pi takes out Renshiro, and it's Rafal with no nitro cell down below in a 1v3. He'll head up Cool Vibe stairs, make some noise as he hits through the barbed wire. He doesn't win the fight against the IQ. Pi will take it, and Na'Vi regain the lead. This is close between these two teams. Neither can shake one another, but Na'Vi still 3-2.
And look back again. If you've been listening for what we've been talking about, especially in the prep phase, you would have cornered a very specific sentence that I said. It's all about map control for the defense when they're bringing squishy operators like the Vigil, like the Jaeger. You know, you put in the Goyo, it's a slowdown, but this is something that should only come into effect at the tail end of the round and not midway through it time-wise. So because you weren't able to maintain your advantage, well, even though you had manpower advantage, you weren't able to use that to actually hold on to power positions within the map. You hold on to lobby, but you couldn't really transfer that to positional advantage inside of luggage and through that pressuring everybody that's trying to push in from Aqua. Had that been done, the round would have been a bit different. I felt that on the Vigil play, but also because he was kind of running with no information at that point. It's a combination of the two. Just because you're safe, it doesn't mean that you have control of everything around you. They can just bypass you, which is exactly what Na'Vi, they did the solid snake. They just walked around, squirmed on the floor. You know, they Photon took that round, basically, ejected it in midair. So, well done there for Na'Vi. What do they do this round? They still bring the same lineup. I don't see a reason why they should change it, to be honest. It's a map like this, you don't really need a Heartbreacher. You can bring a Habana if you want on specifically Hookah, but because it's already been played, you can pull that aside. BDS are going to try to get whatever they can here. A 3-3 at the half on Coastline is not bad because, well, this is a map that the more the two teams are equal, the more defender-sided it becomes. So a 3-3 at the half is fine. But BDS, oddly enough, have not been super active this game. Or at least Na'Vi have been able to shut down that aggression fairly effectively.
Yeah. Pi looks like he's going to be playing closer with the team this time, and at least it's all better supported. Some better support, I would say. Considered probably better support. Kendra not too far off. Kendra, of course, will be playing that hard support role alongside Pi, with Nello actually being swapped up for the default planter. Tons of utility being dropped on in as there goes the very first logic bomb, and it looks like Na'Vi's just going to sprint on through. Who from BDS is going to be there to greet this? Well, the Carbine's a hell of a gun to mow down multiple opponents. Might not need to put to use yet, though, as RXWD's Toxic Canister goes out. He and Rafal have taken some damage. That's about it. Once again, Weird pacing. Upside down repel from Kendrew will deal some damage to RXWD, and the rest will be finished off by saves above. Renshiro there refrags on the saves, so the buck on that second floor, not going to be all that important.
Such an oddity there to lose the buck upstairs, but it's not because somebody was shot from below. It was just pure great play from the rotation, but 3 kills will go the way of BDS. They swarm that entrance into the pantry, and the setup here is just falling apart for Na'Vi. The run-up from Renshiro seals the deal, and BDS end up with a tie at the half, a 3-3. Again, not reinforcing or not or relieving rotation holes into the movie theater upstairs was the main part for me. You held on to lobby, you held on to the stairs, you could rotate up through there and contest that buck, and because he was kind of solo in that position, it ended up in a very favorable trade for BDS. You lost the smoke, fair enough, but you were able to delay players coming into just into the kitchen itself from the desk area, and on top of that, you're able to shut down the buck. That was a great play. That vertical pressure that we talked about earlier on in the show suddenly becomes way easier to control, and then you're fine for the rest of the round, basically. You can dive out at any point in time. You can fight from top down. It all works well for you. You have, again, that map control. And what's the big problem again? They're I said this before. Your opponents are defending the bottom floor. Go up to the top and hold on to it. You got 1 kill. How about we translate that into a bit more than that?
If you're going to run through service as well, there's a lot more you need to do on that second floor. Saves cannot be the only person up there. You need to determine every single member of BDS's location, or at least as many that are close on in, because there is a hellish crossfire that can be established from 2 different angles onto that service door. The way that BDS played that, by keeping somebody inside a bathroom, keeping somebody inside a main lobby, keeping somebody over by kitchen, meant that you had 3 chances as an attacker to get gunned down as you head on into the site to try and get the diffuser down. Not exactly the strategy that you want, and in that case, I just simply think that Na'Vi was too invested in making that push work to change it, whether it was a call that was made or wasn't made, rather. Either way, they could have possibly changed things around, or were simply too committed. And with saves up top, maybe Na'Vi doesn't have the strength that they need to go for a kitchen take or to push in through the courtyard, because you still have to confront the presence that you have from BDS inside of the main lobby. With that said, teams have swapped sides now, as it was a perfect 3-3 through the first half. Na'Vi will go onto defense, and they'll start the double bars down below.
Now, the only change really that you can see lineup-wise is having the sledge instead of having the IQ. And for a lot of people out there, I might be thinking like, yeah, the combination of the buck and the sledge is great, and I completely agree. However, with the IQ nowadays just being brought with breach charges, it's okay to just use her for some extra destruction if you already have the buck and a Zofia and an Ashe on top of all of it. You can also bring breach charges on the Nomad, if I'm not mistaken, so you can also have that as extra. There's the first kill, and that'll go the way of Renshiro, so we're just talking about that sledge. He's low on HP, and he's actually down, so there'll be a rescue mission here by Shaiko. There's one from Citizen taking down the Nomad. I hope Rafal already put down his blasting charges, basically, at this point, because the Nomad air jabs are definitely nothing to laugh about, to be honest. So you go in, you pick up your sledge, it's 20 HP. You don't have an IQ, which is the big reason why I start off the conversation like that, because you deal with the Echo. BDS ran their Echo pretty consistently for around 4 of their 6 rounds, so maybe something that you should be expecting more, but having the sledge is fine. You get those grenades, which is obviously the biggest bonus that you get at the end of it, if you're able to burn off ADSs.
It was a very weird visual glitch that we saw there. It looked like he was shooting into the pottery plant, but no, it was into the floor in front of him. He sustains a little bit of damage as Shaiko shrugs off that explosive. Lems, while the rest of his team does work upstairs, finds it down onto Pi, so we'll try to continue to keep these numbers in favor of BDS after Renshiro had lost most of his HP as well. Inside the site is a Lems. He gets very close to being able to plant the diffuser, and in the instance, he'll hit a goo mine. Nobody from Na'Vi seems to know that he's typing away on that diffuser, and BDS will be able to walk away with some successful objective play. There it is. First round, and diffuser goes down for BDS. Not bad. That's exactly what you need. Renshiro fragging on very limited HP, punishes Kendrew for it, and now Na'Vi find themselves trailing in terms of numbers. So lockout up top. So Lems will head out of the pool entrance, or mudroom if you want to call it that, pull in a launcher, and then open up in a sight line towards the actual diffuser. The Legion of Pi down below will manage to evade Shaiko, who might have to go in for pursuit on the Cool Vibe stairs. He'll make quick work of Nello, look for a second unsuspecting target. And Lems will be the one to find it, not Shaiko. Citizen up above. This is a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation in roughly 2, 1. Diffuser's past the point of no return. Citizen knows this. Whether he dies or not, BDS had the round. They'll add insult to injury by finding Citizen. There will be no pause or salvation for Na'Vi's final member. And once again, BDS will regain the lead.
Well, Parker, you put it there perfectly. There was a lockdown on top. Again, you're attacking on Coastline. Think of it this way. And I know a lot of times here we start talking about what a lot of people would consider to be basic strategies. It's fine. A lot of people come here to also learn and prepare themselves for their own games with their own friends. I'll tell you what. Basic rule. Your opponents are defending a bottom floor. Go atop of it, especially if there's soft destruction. Clear out from there. Hold on to those angles. Then come in and plant. You'll be good to go. And that round was a textbook example of why you should be doing that. That was the most dominant round we've had, outside of the one rush that really Na'Vi did in the second round. This was how you do it. You want to learn how you push in and take any sort of site top down with soft destruction. That's how you do it. Wonderfully done, to say the least. Even with a manpower loss from BDS, they still had enough to understand that, hey, we should have control of the top floor. If that's done, we can shut down lines of sight for the defenders, and from there, we can plant. Na'Vi didn't really know how to respond to that. They'll be bringing smoke, they'll bring Vigil, and that pulse for this round to see if they can deal with their opponents from below. 2 Nitro Stones, usually what you're expecting with this sort of lineup. This counters that top floor control that BDS seem to really want to lean into, which is fair enough. Also combining it with the Vigil to have more hands-on work with your gun to deal with the attackers. So it's a good reaction from Na'Vi. Will it work is the big question. We see them setting up here on this kitchen defense. BDS scout out. You see their drones coming in. They scout out the entirety of the other side of the map on the top floor. Okay, is there anybody in hookah? Is there anybody in the mini bar? Is there anybody in billiards? In aqua? If that's clear, we can come in from there. That's our beachhead to progress deeper in. Oh, a free kill, you think, but Citizen finds Renshiro. That was something BDS were not expecting.
You talked about drone work, and then just like that, lickety-split, Renshiro heads on in the wrong way, and there's just a bit of an oversight, and it'll continue to go as Citizen as probably the best defender to evade your drone work, and that Vigil will make BDS pay for their crimes and their sins. 2 picks for Na'Vi as saves goes down. BDS is able to take 1 back with them. Still, as close as this matchup has been, expect it to stay this close. Shaiko will take out the bulletproof camera and now move on over towards 90. There's a Vigil not too far off. Citizen is likely aware of the spot of BDS's Shaiko just because, well, he'd already managed to shoot that bulletproof camera. Shaiko knows not to pull trigger, and he'll wait, just situated still by the 90 position.
Drones in. I mean, you still have to deal with Vigil. As you said, this is the perfect player with the perfect operator to keep pressuring your flank constantly, and Citizen is so well known for doing that. Plus, you give him bullet holes. Man, if I would not be surprised if he collects a couple more kills by the end of this round.
Lems isn't too far off, though. I think he's wrong about this location, and if he decides to push over towards White Stairs, then the Vigil's in trouble. Shaiko gets gunned down, Citizen pivots, but Lems does not push. The restraint will cost Shaiko his life. Finally, when Lems engages, he's not able to hit the shots onto the Vigil. RXWD falls. There will be no more for Citizen. 3 kills is all he'll get on this round, but Na'Vi will still have 3 members left to deal with the single member of BDS, looking to answer back after BDS had taken their very first attack. Lems inside of the lobby with 50 HP, 35 seconds, and nearly a hopeless situation. There's a shotgun waiting for him the moment he heads on into the bathroom. If he looks the wrong way, he's as good as dead. It's a 2-swing for Na'Vi, as both members of the SAS will collapse on him. It's 4-4 now.
There's good teamwork as well at the end to confuse the Zofia. There's too many positions for you to look into, especially with SMG-11 and shotgun. Yeah, this is basically a recipe for disaster for you. But yeah, as I said, when BDS were on the defense, bringing the Vigil and running this sort of operator combination requires you to hold on to the map and have map control for as long as humanly possible throughout it. And when you get kills off of it, even better. 3K and taking the Zofia down at half HP. I wasn't surprised at all, knowing how well Citizen plays under pressure. Really is the perfect player to put on the operator in the perfect position. He swung around and smashed the Ash down. Even Shaiko now was, I believe, was playing the operator. So down a long hallway, R4C against the K1A. Do not underestimate the K1A. That gun will really shred through people.
It's a good gun.
It's a really good gun. It might not fire as fast as the R4C, but between damage model and good controllability, plus the angle grip, which is something that usually Vigil players will be running with, yeah, they're going to be able to snap onto you around the corner and win engagement and start firing off easily before you're able to react to them. It happened. It worked out well for this defense of Na'Vi, though this time they forego that lineup having the Vigil, as they realize that, okay, let's deal with BDS by just removing as many of their drones as possible. We again won't see that Mute Mozzie combination, but really on a map like Coastline, there's a lot of funnels that you can use. Even though there's a massive open area in the center, you can lock down drone holes on your own as a player. You're going to spot those drones coming a million miles away, basically, with the amount of hallways. So you put your pests in important positions, important doorways, and through that you should be good to go.
See if BDS is able to bounce back after this one, as both teams have only strung together a victory or 2 victories once. So fairly quick between the two teams to enter. This round will be no exception. So Lems gets the opening pick. Smoke off the board, and Pi, who has had some very crucial moments for his team, will not be able to put much of an impact on round number 9. I mean, you lose a good player, you lose a good operator, and Lems made quick work of it. It was last time around, round number 8, where, well, you saw BDS enter, and they didn't do their proper drone work. This time around, obviously they seem to have some pretty good information. Double bars yet again. Na'Vi was not successful here, and BDS have quite a bit of control on that second floor.
You see the bulletproof camera feeding information to the lowly defender sitting on his own in the back of hookah. Pre-fire in as Lems finally will take down saves. That was a Jaeger playing in that position. You're cornered, you're trying to lay as much as possible, but you lost your flank, you lost your support, and Shaiko, a great play to take down Nello from above using the holes. I believe the defenders had opened up themselves to support the Jaeger upstairs. 2 players left, the Kendrew and the Mozzie of Citizen. You're gonna have to rotate back on site. Unfortunate that it's barbed wire being run by the Mozzie, as you saw him laying those 2 down in the hallway upstairs. So no nitro cells can be used to combo with the Yokais, as BDS seem to be gearing up for the final assault.
Yeah, you've got a full squad of BDS. They haven't had a single scratch on the paint job at all against Citizen and Kendrew, and while Na'Vi hasn't exactly been all hitting their shots, some members have, but Citizen's going to need to continue to do that. Shago's been downed. That could be a major difference for Na'Vi. Down goes RXWD as well. This is essentially a 2v3. There's almost another for Kendrew. This is his shots. I'd mentioned, you got to hit him. In that case, Kenny, my boy, you really needed to be able to land that on Shaiko, who's going to lay there dead. There is a yokai within reach. If you want to go on that information, want to go on and get that information, you're more than welcome to. By any means, go and do it. Down goes Rafal. How is Na'Vi managing to pull this one together? Kendrew in the safety of the courtyard will now go on to that yokai drone. Alem's looking to go for the plant. Shaiko bleeding out above. He's nearly dead. He gets picked up, though. Waiting for that yokai drone to get repositioned. Citizen will creep on in. He's going to have the information. He gets shut down by Shaiko, but there you have the yokai drone, and Kendrew nestled inside of the courtyard. He'll save it for his team. Na'Vi regain the lead. Impressive stuff off of what was almost a complete blowout for BDS.
Was the Echo sitting in the middle of the courtyard in the
well, I mean, he was prone by like the patio
thing
there, yeah.
Yeah, I see. Oh my, that's such a sneaky position. You really don't expect that. in the end, it worked out so well for Na'Vi. And why? Because they were able to contest their opponents on that top floor. The Jaeger was able to win them enough time to put the Mozzie in a better position to contest. And the Echo also understood that, hey, if we're going to lose this round because we're in a 5v2, I need to do something right now. And me sitting on my yokais is not going to save the round for me. Not at this point. That was good understanding of just having round knowledge. This is your experience that comes into play. Na'Vi still are Pro League champions. These are not just 5 random kids that just picked up the game. They know what they're doing. Sometimes you got to grease up the wheels, and in that case, Nello made the right decision. He went up and said, okay, I will support you as best as I can, and if we can get the kills, great. If not, we already would have lost the round. Anyways, we're in a 5v2. This is what a lot of people that are watching at home sometimes might judge these decisions one way or another. But when you're up against the wall and in a position like that in a 5v2, you know that you've pretty much lost. Especially on a map that's so open as Coastline, you might as well do the craziest thing possible. And this is where strategies fly out the door. There's no strategy really involved in this. This is your communication, your understanding of your teammates. And again, Na'Vi are still playing in boot camp in Kiev, which gives them an advantage basically in preparation. But we also know that BDS are boot camping this week.
Unknown location.
Today, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say, unknown about the location. There goes Kendrew, the man who saved the round single-handedly in round number 9, but Saves gets one of his own. So Bloodlust, anybody? 2 kills for both, 1 for both teams. Not a bad start.
And by the way, for any people watching out there that don't know what a boot camp is basically when you get everybody together, playing in the same home, basically, and preparing themselves strategy-wise for an event, especially with SI coming up. Renshiro, though, find another one, and it's a big kill now between the Jaeger and the Legion.
Still got the yokai in play. Kendrew was the one who was the man to beat last time. And this time it'll be Nello, who hasn't been finding much success in the scoreboard, but his utility could end up saving his team. Going over towards Cool Vibe stairs, BDS down below, and Shaco obviously not happy about missing that shot. Significant damage done to Pi, and Shaco cannot follow up, so the smoke will get away. Half the round to go. 3 of the 10 people, well, they sit on the bench. For Na'Vi, it means you've got 2 members of your team who are going to sit on cams and call information where applicable. If there's been any drones that have been snatched by Citizen, those will be very important. The Yokais as well will be able to get spectated by both Saves and Kendrew, and they can watch one of each.
Go past the eliminated. Lem's going to prepare himself to enter, so what do you do first? Drone in, make sure you have everything cleared out. There's no traps set up for you, and if that's the case. Goodmines were eliminated earlier on in the round, so you're kind of safe going around those. Scan around for any yokai drones that might be a bit closer to you, and you'll see that there's some utility that was spotted thanks to the smoke having put it there, but there's a great shot from Nello. So I believe those were bullet holes as well that were set up for him. So, a great play here to turn it to a 3v3.
That was a really tough loss for Lems to go down, given what he brings to the table as IQ, but also because that diffuser is now over by Aqua, which will require Rafael to move in that direction. That's 15 seconds off of the clock. Shaco takes out Citizen, continues to run on up, gun down, traded off, Renshiro on Repel, means Pi in a 1v2. But Pi's going to need to pick his battles here. He gets the kill, heads on into Aqua, drone is down in front of him. If he does not peek, Renshiro might not have the info. Waiting on the call for the sledge. Pig's coming out, Pi goes on in! It's gonna be match point for Na'Vi. They can't lose, they can only draw. They desperately need that point in the standings, and Pi very narrowly misses it. Or almost misses it, rather. He'll be the savior on that round. 2 rounds in a row now, Na'Vi have been bailed out by an anchor clutching in the very final seconds. BDS will now fight for a draw.
Unfortunately, that if you're trying to go plant with the diffuser before you were in the right position or before your teammate was in the right position to cover you. And because of that, you saw that there was a reinforcement in the center of Hookah. That's the usual strategy. And on reverse repel, thankfully, with the amount of advantages that you have, one that you don't is being able to see all the way down into that plant position through those holes that were opened up at the top of the wall. And you're able to cover your teammate as he's going in for the plant. unfortunate there for BDS. They were on a bit of a time crunch, but not enough to warrant that sort of play. They would have had enough time to kind of prepare for a plan before running into it. Mistakes were made, and unfortunately that means that BDS can't coin more than 1 point at the end of the day, as you were saying. And well, right now BDS, they are higher up in the standings. They're at 10 points compared to G2's 12 after their victory today. But Na'Vi being at 4 points, they would love to have their extra 3 so they can dive above Fours and Chaos. A reminder to everyone, as we kind of remind everybody of it every single play day. For North America and EU, Pro League will be expanded next season, so there will be no relegations as we usually do and we usually have had for the past 10 seasons. None of that here, so you can kind of rest assured, but no team wants to be on the tail end of PL regardless.
Yeah.
You really want to go to Invitational feeling good because you won the last game, right? It's a motivational thing.
I mean, I just want to go to Invitational feeling good, period, and I really hope I don't catch whatever has ran afoul of you, Emzo, and Kicks. That's my greatest concern right now.
You were a bit sick when you first came in here, so I caught something from Emzo, and he caught something.
What? I was not sick.
Really? You weren't?
No, I haven't been sick in almost a year, actually.
There you go. So you're gonna be sick by tomorrow. So.
I mean, other than, you know, diabetes. But I mean, like, I have
That's kind of, that's a chronic disease.
I have not been, like, sick. Like, I haven't had a cold since, I think, probably around February or March of last year, if that. I do not remember the last time I had to take, like, cold medication or anything like that. Goodbye to Pi. Rensure gets the opening pick.
I don't know if you got any meds for that one.
Or RXWD, rather, got taken out first and foremost. So, Na'Vi looking to go for the throat.
Citizen still on the vigil as the ERC active. Rensure knows he's going to have to contest with him at some point in time. And it's going to be walking into the... I guess you could go in, but I don't know if that's the right decision right now, especially since you have no information on things. He's going to throw in a grenade. Finally, there you go. They'll be walking into it, having a drone in front of them to make sure, like, okay, there's nobody waiting for us, and there's no nitro cell being prepped for us downstairs.
Shaco up top, watching the holes that have been opened up by his gadget, and he's not too far off of Renshiro, who's going to probably do some more wrecking work onto the kitchen below. Opening up as the sledge, you are obviously susceptible to a nitro cell. This kitchen defense. Caster's Curse strikes back.
Yeah.
Kendrew blows Renshiro sky high, and Na'Vi now only need 3 more kills. Shaco's already lost about half his HP, but that boy can frag on 1 HP. It doesn't really matter. As long as there's a gun in his hands, well, he's going to make quick work of ya. Nello prone, watching. Shotgun out. Diffuser going down. He'll shake one off, losing the fight. Refragged, and there it is. The kill feed is Na'Vi's, and with it the match as well. Shaco's out of the game, but Na'Vi, despite coming in dead last place, and Shaco's team, BDS, having the chance to make it close to the top. They're not going to come close enough. 7-4, Na'Vi, obviously boot camping, going well. They did not have the strongest first half, but they, boy, did they correct those mistakes in the second.
Yeah, so far Na'Vi beat out BDS and Chaos. They beat Chaos 7-5. Those are an extremely close game between the two. So the point here is they've recovered, I guess, and this is the perfect time to get yourself those extra 3 points, right? It's the final play day.
I'm just making sure my mustache looks good for the camera.
I got my own, actually.
I know, I saw. I witnessed.
Like I can twirl it.
Continue, story.
So right now you're looking good if you're Na'Vi because, okay, you're out of 8th place. It doesn't mean that you're really doing extremely well, and everybody knows that. You can't really hide it. The strategies were there. But what at least it does is it kind of raises your morale going into Invitational. For a lot of people that are watching out there, a difference between online and offline play can be really stark. It can really switch up your team. And when you get really used to playing on LAN, some teams really get shaky online because it's a different environment and you can't do the same stuff that you can on LAN that you do online. So you kind of get used to that. You're winning a lot of tournaments. You're playing a lot of things online. And a reminder that Navi not only played in Pro League and they were in Tokonami, but they are also playing in Minors. They're also playing in the Premiership in the UK. So when you get used to that sort of lineup and environment, you kind of tend to be a lot more comfortable in it.
Yeah.
So the boot camp is kind of trying to lure you bit by bit into it, go through it, and then you'll be better prepared. Right?
Well, speaking of prepared, the boot camping has obviously done wonders. We have an interview ready with Navi. We'll say hello to Kendrew. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm very well. It feels good to win.
Does it?
Yes.
I was gonna make a snide joke about you guys know what that feels like, but then I realized that you haven't. That would have been mean-spirited. So at least now I've said it. I apologize.
Kind of a sensitive subject. Not gonna lie.
Well, that's why you're at boot camp right now, right? And
yes.
I mean, the first question is always going to be, you seem to be playing more confidently. You've been taking good gunfights. What has the boot camp been able to do for this team that the previous couple weeks hadn't?
Well, I think we had some internal issues. We couldn't really find our game. We were struggling. I called it like an identity crisis, really. We had no idea what we wanted to play, how we wanted to play. So we started fresh. We got on a whiteboard. We all sat down and we just started completely from fresh. That was 2 or 3 days ago, and ever since then, the scrims have been going like 10 times better, and everyone's so much more confident. And ending this half on a win is probably the best thing that could happen to us going into Invite.
Yeah, I think there's some question marks about both yours and Rogue's performances in terms of lands, and yours in particular in Pro League, and now this Group B does indeed look like the Group of Death title that it might so rightly have deserved. Now, I want to talk about somebody who's not actually playing on your roster right now, but Doki is actually at the boot camp with you. Is he providing anything in terms of a fresh set of eyes to this squad, given that he is removed from the actual day-to-day playing?
Yeah, he tries to help us as much as he can. Obviously, he's from the sidelines, but he's doing his best. Obviously, he wants to be playing again, but it's the best he can do.
Yeah, I just figured because you had Gig step off of the squad, and then I was wondering just from like a coaching and analytical standpoint how well that's been going for you. Now, in this matchup against BDS, it really was a typical Coastline matchup. Very quick action, weird pacing, lots of fragging. You in particular tend to be the backbone of this team. What did you observe was the greatest strength that your team had against BDS today?
Recovering. There was a lot of rounds, especially on defense, where we was 3-5 down, 2v5. Me and Sirzin clutched a 2v5 with the Echo Drone, 3v5 on the hook around. We just kept composed, and we just knew that every round's winnable. So we just focused on playing. That's pretty much it.
Now, with this boot camp still going on, you've got a couple weeks till 6 Invitational. Obviously, I don't want you to disclose super great strats that you have prepared, I'm sure. But if you could assess one thing that you still need to work on between now and the Invitational to give you the best shot of getting out of the groups, what is it?
I'd say for me, there's two things, like two huge issues that we have. It's either we get entry kills, and then we throw the round. So entry kills mean nothing to us. Or we die super early. Like I died 2 times in a row super early. That's on me to try and fix. But if we fix them, I think we'll be in good shape going into Invite.
So against a team like BDS, how do you fix that? Because if you're saying you're dying twice, take us through the mind of a pro player. You realize and assess that you're dying too early. How do you address that? How do you prevent yourself in particular from being the opening frag?
It's a weird one because we like to be aggressive. So obviously sometimes you can't avoid early deaths, but me being the backbone of the team, sometimes dying too early is kind of it's a good thing because I can be on cams the entire time, but it's also a bad thing. So I don't know, just stop playing like an idiot, I guess. That's all I can say. I got like wall banked quite a few times, putting myself in silly positions. So that's it.
I feel like the overall skill of Rainbow Six and a lot of other video games would increase if everybody took that advice to heart. Stop playing like an idiot. So there you have it. Anything to say? You're our final interview for Europe before we go to the 6th Invitational. You get to put the stamp before we turn the page. What are you going to say?
Just thanks to all the Navi supporters, the UK scene that has been behind us, even though we're going through a rough time at the moment. Thanks to our player manager, Nighten, who's somewhere behind me. And Navi for running this bootcamp. It shows it's helping us now. I'm glad that we could turn it around. That's it. Just thank you. Thank you.
And that's our MVP, actually, of the matchup. Citizen in the background there.
MVP.
I'll see you in Montreal, as we all will as well. Congratulations on your victory. It comes at a pretty good time.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Yeah, it does. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
See ya.